Welcome to Edinburgh.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry the weather isn't a bit better today than it should be, but we're so delighted that you've come to see us here at the Asia Scotland Institute. So thank you for that. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your thoughts on leadership and the things we're going to talk about later on. But perhaps just to say that our mission at the Institute, which is now in its 5th year, is to educate and inspire tomorrow's leaders and to equip them to function in a world that is increasingly global and within which Asia will play an increasingly large part. And I wondered if we could start off by you sharing with me your thoughts on the leadership that was needed to create Infosys.
Well, leadership is all about raising the confidence of people, raising their enthusiasm, they're raising their energy levels, and to say, we'll walk on water for you with a leader. George Bernard Shaw said it in a slightly different context, but those words can be used to define leadership. And he said, most people see things as they are and wonder why. I dream of things that never are and then say, why not?
Yes.
In essence, that is the primary job of a leader. To imagine a highly desirable future and then say, why not? And then raise the confidence of people, raise the energy levels of people, raise the enthusiasm of people to undertake the tough journey to reach the comfort of a desirable destination.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk about this in the broader context, but just perhaps to start off, Infosys has been a hugely successful company. There have been ups and downs, but the direction of travel has been one of success. What do you attribute that to?
Well, there were several principles that we embraced right from day one.
Yeah.
First, we said, under promise, over deliver. Second, we said, the softest pillow is a clear conscience.
Yeah.
Third, we said, we have to have people who are powered by intellect and driven by values.
Yes.
Fourth, we said, when in doubt, disclose.
Yes.
So in other words, we combined a set of attributes that emphasize competence to do a good job for the customer,
Yes.
with a set of attributes that emphasized values, because if you want to be a long-term player in a market, competence alone will not be sufficient.
Yeah.
You need the combination of competence and values.
Yes.
That's how we...
Let's carry that concept across, because you and I were talking about this earlier today, and there's the concept of the servant leader, for example, and the need to have a moral compass. As you now look at the world in which we live, and the leadership of some of the great countries, economies in the world, whether it be China or the United States or your own country, India, what do you see in terms of the quality of leaderships at a national, global level?
Well, China has demonstrated to us that a nation that has very competent leaders, a nation that is willing to make all short-term sacrifices, a nation that embraces discipline, is bound to go far. India has, in some sense, followed China, not as rigorously, but because it is still a democracy. It's a democracy where there is pluralism, there are lots of discussion and debates. Therefore, the progress has been slower, but we are lucky to have had a Prime Minister who has laser focus on economic progress, on inclusivity, on reducing poverty, on building a good international relationship, etc.
Yes, yes.
I think US, of course, is struggling in its own way, and as a foreigner, who am I to comment on that country?
And who am I, except that it's amazing what a democratic system throws up,
Of course.
if you see what I mean. Good. I know that you are not only obviously a father, but a grandfather, and we think about the lessons we can impart and the guidance we can give to our children and grandchildren. They will in the end do what they decide to do, regardless of what we may say.
Yeah.
And in the context of what we're doing here at the Age of Scotland Institute, for a young person beginning to set off on their lives, their professional lives, what's your advice to the 3 or 4 key things that young people should perhaps bear in mind?
Well, they have to embrace the universal values of good work ethic,
Yes.
honesty, integrity, transparency, openness to new ideas,
Yes.
meritocracy, innovation, and excellence in execution. One. Second, in every decision they take, they have to ask whether that decision will indeed enhance respect for their organization in the eyes of the society.
Yes.
And second, whether that decision will raise the respect for them in the eyes of their colleagues.
Yeah.
And finally, in everything they do, they have to ask the question whether they are enhancing their relevance to the society, because at the end of the day, society contributes customers, employees, investors, vendor partners, government of the land, bureaucrats, and the politicians.
Yes. Yes.
So therefore, society is the most important stakeholder that they have to keep in mind. That's what I would say.
I'm sure you're right. And with that guidance and with that wisdom, let me thank you again for being here today. We look forward to what you have to say later on. And it is so good to see you in Scotland.
You're very kind.
Thank you very much. Thank you.